Welcome to the Prague Chess Festival, named after this guy, Pragnananda Ramesh Babu, known as Prague. Just kidding, the tournament's being held in Prague, in the Czech Republic, and it's a spicy one, because there's a number of chess candidates playing. Now when I say that, well, the candidates tournament is just around the corner. In a month's time, they'll be battling it out to see who plays Ding Liren, reigning world champion. We're not looking to elect the next Dark Lord of Chess, the candidate for that. No, nothing to do with that. Now with the black pieces here is Vidit Gujarati, another candidate, and that's why there's a lot of eyes on this Prague tournament here, because they're playing each other just in advance of this huge tournament coming down the line. So Prague with white, he kicks off with c4 here. This is round 5, and boy do we have an encounter here. E5 played, so a Sicilian with reverse colours. The four horsemen of the apocalypse charge into the game, and now G3 invites E4, but if you do that, there's knight G5, the pawn on E4 is tender as a slow cooked brisket, so don't advance too fast. Instead we get this open Sicilian. Knight recaptures, bishop G2, and the moves I'm drawing on the board, they're the old main ones. But bishop c5 comes, a much more aggressive placement of that bishop. Alexander Grishchuk, he came up with this idea in 2017. It's gained popularity. So d3 now played. Castles and bishop d2, why not go for some tactics here, try and win the knight, that kind of thing. Well, there's this in betweener, a Zwischenzug, and after pawn recaptures, you're not actually doing so great. Pawn structure's a mess here, black's doing well, got loads of compensation and an attack. So we get bishop d2 developing, preparing to recapture the knight on c3. So knight f6 now drops back. No more tactical stuff going on here. We get the knight out the way. a3 prepares expansion. You can shut it down with a5, but Vidit allows it. Goes for this pawn push, takes control of an important square. b4 kicks back the bishop. It looks passive, but if this pawn ever takes here or here, it comes to life. Castles played. a6, Vidit completing the old bunny ears here, side quest accomplished, and now that bishop on d2 needs redeploying. This is classy. Bishop c1. Bishop f5 and bishop b2. Majestic, classical chess beauty on the board. Queen d7, high level manoeuvring chess. Knight a4, heads for c5. Common idea in these structures. Bishop h3 to exchange those bishops. That's a monster one down this diagonal here. Rook c1 carries on. This rook centralizes. Queen c2 gets off the x-ray, and after rook fe8, rook fd1, both players fully developed now. Well, there could be a threat to go bishop h1, not allow the exchange. So now we see takes. King recaptures, and why not go e4 straight away? Well, if you do and open this d file here, there are tactical problems with the rook lined up opposite the queen, knight c5 coming, this one tender, e4, d7, not good. So that's why queen e6 now prepares e4 here. So Prague, he goes e4 himself. Because he's exchanged the bishops, this is positionally okay. And yes, this is a hole, but one day d4 might come. So rook d7 doubles, going for the backwards d3 pawn. Queen c4 now offers an exchange of the ladies. If you capture though, not ideal. Pawn structure repaired, c5 on the way, e5 tender. So even though this one gets weak, it's actually white doing well. So it wasn't touched. Queen e7 now played. Queen b3 clears that c file to open up the rooks once more. Rook ed8 doubles on the d file. Rook e1, why would you step away from the protection? Well, now d4 could be coming. Does add some protection to e4. And now here, another classy move. Queen to e8. Difficult to understand, but when you click deeper, you realise that in some lines, d4's come in, pawn takes, and then e5. And the bishop could be trapped if it doesn't have retreat room. So after h3, this whole variation comes into effect after knight h7. With the queen stood here, d4 is very strong, but not so much anymore. So instead, knight c3 heads for the d5 square. We get knight g5, an exchange there, and now Vidit, classy player, he chucks in the Zwischenzug, leans forward, whispers it at Prague. That's what all the top pros do in these over-the-board tournaments. Real classy stuff. Queen d1, pawn captures here, and knight d5. Prague with the pressure, the pawn structure slightly compromised, bishop about to exchange. Yes, you give up a nice bishop, but that's a monster knight, and then you can get these pawns rolling. So knight e6 doesn't allow it. Queen g4 activating. Bishop f8 opens the eyes of the rooks, adds some defense around the king, and h4. Prague takes the tin opener to the king side there. Do not capture this pawn. You get mated in two. Check, you can't recapture, pawn pinned, and not only could you win the queen, but you can actually literally deliver this checkmate. That's brutal. Knight and queen, epic attacking force. So the pawn not touched. c6 kicks away this annoying knight. It jumps to b6. Rook under fire, but pawn now won. This is Vidit's counterplay, sacrificing then the g5 pawn, which he couldn't move, right? And after bishop e7, again, it's good counterplay. You know, if you take here, getting too trigger happy on the attack, well, bishop takes, rook is hit. You know, black's really fighting. The queen's also activated now. So coming back, Prague goes g6. Excellent move, trying to rip open that black monarch. You can't capture here, or else this knight drops with check. So instead, we see bishop g5 played anyway. The rook on c1 hit. Prague chucks in a Zwischenzug, right? Queen recaptures after the check. The rook challenges the d file, comes away from, whoops, misfire. Must be too many drinks this morning. Just kidding, all I've had is a cup of tea. Now we see bishop d2 and rook e2. Getting out of the attack. Bishop c3. This rook now under fire. Bishop under fire. But classy from Prague. He takes, rook recaptures, and just drops this knight back. It's on a really nice circuit round the board. Always look at your knight circuits when you start maneuvering them. So queen f6 covers this e5 pawn, which was under fire. We see bishop takes, rook takes, and knight e3. Headed for this wonderful f5 outpost to join some attack. So Vidit picks up the pawn. Thank you very much. Free pawn. I'll have it. He is one ahead now. But rook d2 takes the open file. Knight d4 blocks it. And knight f5. And Prague's just stirring the pot here, right? Look at this king. It's a bit drafty. Probably need to get the old PG rating up now. It's a bit exposed and naked. a5 now played by Vidit, but not the best move. Rook a1 was better. Eyeballing the h1 square, and then there could be ideas of queen h6 and doing some nasties down there, you know, once the knights exchange. But missed. a5 played. They're low on time. Now we see knight takes on d4. Pawn recaptures. Why would you give this great pass pawn? Well, aha. Here is the point of Prague. e5. Now Vidit takes on me there. Great song by Aha. But here's the point in response. Rook takes. You're covering these squares from any queen checks from the black queen. And the king is very, very exposed now. I mean, the engine says top move is king h7, but the checks really start flooding in, even in that line. So instead, Vidit takes the pawn, and his idea is, well, okay, where's your actual follow-up? You can check me, fine, I'll come here. You can check me again, I'll come here. But you know, my queen's got some squares covered. How are you actually proceeding? All the computer gives is a repetition. Sorry, don't step that way, step this way to h7. Stop the rook from coming here. But this was not played. Instead, Prague finds an exceptional move that shuts the trap on this black king. If you want to pause, look for the best attacking idea. Please do so. So the move to play here, Prague slams it down, rook e4. because you're decoying the black queen away from the defense of g7. So Vidit comes here, pinning the rook to the king, but king h2. The rook is activated, ready to attack, and it's why rook a8 is just no good, covering the back rank, because then rook e7 comes, threatening mate, and there's no good way to defend it. The queen can't access these key dark squares. So rook a2 was played, desperate for counterplay, but now queen c8 check is the way to carry on the attack. If king f7, you get hunted in a different manner. King h7 was played, and this is how the hunt begins. King g6, more checks start flooding in. This king being given the runaround. Deadly attack. The rook piling on the pressure, and here we see resignation from Vidit. Why? It's mating too. You can give up the queen, that's a pretty stupid way to go and you still lose, or say you sidestep, check, king here, and now you can either checkmate like this or like this with the rook. Just don't do this one. That would be a good way to blunder the game. Lovely attacking game from Pragg. Nice seeing him playing the English there. This is hotting up ahead of the candidates. If you enjoyed, smash subscribe and check out the link in the description to join the epic chess community. Pub quiz on the way tonight. We've got tons lined up for the week. Really great space. Get involved. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.